All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It is a gorgeous day out there. Unfortunately, I think we have a little bit of a heat wave coming next week, but it is still August, so it goes. All right. Well, we have a pretty full agenda and a few special guests as well. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it for this August edition of the State of the Castle. We're going to kick it off actually with an individual that many of you may know, and for those of you that don't, you will very, very shortly. And that is Gary Aubrey. So Gary's going to come up. Gary is a former East Castle employee turned retiree. But has always been a fantastic musician, fantastic conductor, and for many, many years conducted the Castle Choir, which I think we're going to be very excited to welcome Gary back to the Castle Choir for this fall, winter. Turning it over from Pat Crump. And again, a special, special thank you to Pat for her work last year for the choir concert. And so again, quick show of hands, how many of you were a part of the Castle Choir last year? All right. Well, Gary, you see the hands up. Your turn to turn some more of those hands up. All right, we're going to turn it over to you, Gary.
Thank you, Tyler. Oh, it's good to be back. Oh, I like the changes. Just look at from what it was when I was here before. It's really nice. Again, my name is Gary Aubrey. I started here at East Castle Place in 1996. So that was a long time ago. I retired in January 2022 and directed my last time with the Castle Choir in that summer. And at the same time, I was also directing a community choir, which was taking up a lot of time. So I took a breather from the Castle Choir for a bit, and I'm really excited to have being able to come back. And Pat, thanks so much for filling in for me. And that time I was there for the concert. I thought it went really, really well. So the Castle Choir began with myself and several residents that were really excited about it, as well as Laura Wengler, who was helping to usher in the beginning of this. And it was something that had been talked about for years. When we began, we had almost 40 members in the choir, close to that. And it was really exciting. We did every type of concert you can imagine. We did show tunes. We had one concert that was all big band. And some of you remember that were here. We even had a guest pianist. That's all he ever does. And he was just an incredible addition, and the concert was probably the biggest concert we had ever done. As I said, we've done show tunes, we've done folk tunes. Every concert that we did, we had kind of a theme to it. We're going to do the same thing for the Christmas concert. My wife came up with the title of A Time for Peace for our Christmas concert, which we think is very appropriate now. So I'm excited. I hope all of you are. I hope several of you who have been maybe hesitant about coming back and singing in the choir, you will come back. One other thing that I'd like to mention especially to the choir, I've talked to Tyler about this and talked to Evan about this, considering changing the name of the Castle Choir just slightly to the Castle Community Choir. This way, we open the choir up to those in the community that would like to be part of our choir. So we hope that will be something you will all embrace and be excited about as well. So, is there any questions anyone has? Okay, thank you, Tyler. I will be here till the end of this to talk to anybody who wants to talk to me.
Thanks, Gary. Just a few quick notes. If somebody is interested, is there a sign-up sheet? Are we reaching out directly to you? What is that looking like?
There should be a sign-up sheet at the front desk.
Or they can email me too.
Yeah.
Or
Email Evan or sign up at the front desk. And when about are we planning to have our first?
We're looking at the Monday after Labor Day, that would be the 9th, for our first rehearsal.
The 9th in
September.
of September. We do have Tim Crane in the evenings on Mondays as well,
Okay.
starting in September. So we'll just work with that. Maybe, and again,
Yeah, the
I'll
rehearsal
send out
started
an
at
email.
3:30.
I'll send out an email with exact
Perfect.
details, yeah.
perfect. More details to follow, but we just want your passion and your voice. And if you think you don't have a good voice, I promise you, you do.
You do.
And so we just want to hear it. So, all right. With that, I'm going to welcome up Joe Schmidt. Little miscommunication. I will own it. Sorry, Lynn, if you were all excited to stand up and be
I
here.
was ready to ad-lib.
Oh, well, Joe's going to ad-lib, I think. So, no, I chatted with Joe, so a little miscommunication on my end. I apologize, but Joe Schmidt is going to go ahead and give the resident council update. Joe.
It is absolutely not his fault. I was supposed to be out of town, but I canceled the trip, so here I am. First thing I want to do is please join me in thanking, and I have my hands full, so you're going to have to applaud, the staff and the administration for the lovely party yesterday. It was phenomenal. So lovely. Then I want to talk to you about Christmas. I want to talk to you about Christmas at the Castle. For those of you who are new, we'll start with what it is. It is a 4-day festival of celebration that includes a basket raffle, a boutique of items from the treasure chest, with all the proceeds from those two things going to the ECP Scholarship Fund. There's also the choir concert, annual concert. There's also a special holiday reception, which Majarka does and Tim do a phenomenal job of, and it's so lovely and delicious. And there's always a surprise or two that we probably haven't thought of yet. We did some special things last year, and we'll probably repeat them, and we'll probably add a few things in. Every year it gets a little more fun. Why do we do this? It's a long-standing part of ECP's history. And who doesn't enjoy a party that goes on for 4 days? When is it? The first full weekend in December. So Thursday, December 5th through Sunday, December 8th. And I think I'm right in saying that family and friends are invited, certainly for the concert and for the Sunday events. Where is it? Various locales throughout the complex. The Gilman, Lindsay Hall, your hallways where you live will become part of it. So lots of special things going on. And the best part, the biggest part that I'm here to do today is how can you help? Sign up to volunteer. There's a clipboard up here with a pen and my keys on it. Don't let me forget my keys. And you can sign up there. I will move that to the table in the library after this meeting so you can continue to sign up there. Those of you who do sign up will be contacted to attend a planning meeting in September. So it won't happen right away, but it will get going in September to plan the full range of activities. And your ideas are certainly welcome, so please join us and give us your ideas as well. Otherwise, I want to also congratulate our committees, our standing committees that do so much work around here, from the garden committee to the green committee to the art committee to the communications committee. You're going to get a newsletter in September that has a centerfold of what you can and cannot recycle. And we're hoping you're going to post that in your apartment somewhere, in your kitchen or laundry room or wherever you may put such things, so that we can continue to be a green community. And the lifestyle community is very, very energetic and working very hard. I'm missing some committees here, the decor committee and so forth, but you have 10 standing committees that do a lot of work around here. And I urge you to attend a meeting, see if it's something that might be of interest to you, and join and help with the work. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Joe. And the sign-up sheet, believe is this one, right, Joe? So right here. So if you are interested in that, go ahead. And next up is Lindsay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy August. So for this month, just giving a health center and a COVID update, as I'm sure we're all aware that there's been a late summer kind of illness, COVID going around, as well as just an upper respiratory bug that isn't testing to be COVID. I had it about a month ago, I think. I still have a little dry cough of lingering effects and so on. So things to be aware of. But as of right now, we only have one resident in independent living who is COVID positive. In the past month, we've had several neighbors who have tested positive. Individualized, unrelated, I would say. Obviously, there are group things that people do, but there's many gatherings, there's many external things, family members, summer parties, as well as restaurants and grocery stores that we are going to. That COVID is still, unfortunately, here and here to stay, probably more of that seasonal illness that we'll start to continue to see. But the positivity rate in Milwaukee has gone up recently, and that's in all ages. And so I'd say, really, obviously, the best line of defense, if you are feeling sick, stay inside. Cancel or reschedule your plans. Wear a mask. We have plenty. Still, so if you need some, just let us know. We'd be happy to provide you some. They're also at the front desk area still. Because again, it's usually those particles when you're coughing and so on, or sneezing, that is that first kind of exposure. And it still is needing to be within 6 feet of someone. We also have rapid tests too, but again, I know that the local CVS's and Walgreens all are adequately stocked with COVID tests as well. But again, as always, monitoring your symptoms, letting Teresa Jenkins know. We can do meal delivery, we can get you fluids and so on to make sure that you are getting back on your feet as soon as possible. Because oftentimes with some of these illnesses, by the time you get to your doctor, you're out of your isolation period because it still is that 5-day isolating waiting window. And from a staff perspective with COVID, we currently have no staff members, which is fantastic. And we are not in masks and do not have any other significant modifications at this time for the community. Any questions about COVID? Or anything I can answer? Yes?
Is there a date for vaccinations here?
I think it's October 16th.
The question was, is there a date for vaccinations here at East Castle? And yes, there is. It's October 16th. Mark your calendar. They will be able to come in and do kind of the trifecta of COVID, flu vaccine, because obviously flu season, September being in 2 weeks or in a week and a half is right around the corner. And then, I'm trying to blink on the third.
RSV.
RSV, thank you. I was going to say HVAC, but that is not right. Yes.
Is it a good idea to get all three at one time?
Is it a good idea to get all three at one time? I personally will not tell you what to do with that. I would say personally, please call your primary care physician to determine if you should get all three at one time. And you have plenty of time right now to make that call or talk to a nurse at the doctor's office. But again, for many people, it is okay to get all three at all times. The pharmacy company and the physicians coming in to do them and the nurses would not do that if it was contraindicated. But to that point, please, between now and October 16th, contact your primary care physician to see if that's recommended for you.
And that date, I'm going off memory, but we'll get it out. I think it's the 16th. So.
You put it on our calendar, so.
We'll have an update on that again next month too, so. Yes?
Last year North Shore came here, pharmacy.
Yeah, it'll be North Shore
I
again.
want you to get all three at once.
So the statement was last year North Shore came to East Castle and they did not want you to get all three. So again, please contact your primary care or the nurse at your respected health clinic that you go to. So.
That was a mistake.
Oh, that was a mistake. Never mind. Scratch that. Rewind the camera. No. All right, any other questions? No? Otherwise, then I'll pass it on to Majorca with the hospitality update.
Go, Teresa. Sorry, Teresa's distracting today. Hi guys, how are you? Good. So I just have two quick little updates. So Labor Day is a week from Monday, and we will, as we do for most holidays, have a buffet. So that will be from 11:30 till 1-ish or so in the Gilman. And there will be no dinner service that evening. So it's just the buffet for lunchtime on Labor Day. And then the other thing is, with talking with the Food and Beverage Committee, when we have Tim Crane come, we're going to switch the buffets that are on Wednesdays to Mondays. So September 9th is a Monday for the next 6 weeks, I believe it is. The buffet will happen Mondays, and then Wednesday will be normal dinner service as we do have the rest of the week. So any questions with that? No? That's all that I really had for this month. Any other questions for the group? No? All right, well then it's Eric's turn.
Thank you, Adjarna. Okay, I'll jump right into the questions that were turned in. First one I have is I have not had working smoke detectors in my unit since the beginning of June. My family is very concerned. That's a question from likely a resident from Historic. We're still working through with Fire Detection Group on narrowing down whichever device is the problem. The problems we had over the last weekend were associated to reconnecting a device that we thought was the issue. We're quite certain that was the problem. So we've replaced that relay on the C elevator, and we're waiting to see as we slowly add devices back if we get any more troubles that come up. So we're still working through that. That technician from Fire Detection Group's usually out here minimum once a week, but usually about twice. So it's been a lot of hours logged for him going through and removing and replacing the parts until we figure out which one is the problem. But when it comes to coverage, bear in mind, we have protection in every single space in this entire facility. So if your particular apartment's lacking in those smoke detection, it's in the hallway, it's in the other areas of the building. So it's not a fire or smoke that I'm concerned is going to put anyone else at any additional risk. We have sprinklers throughout the campus as well. So we're covered in different layers. Next question here is, why weren't sprinklers installed in the garden next to the dining room windows? So I'm going to assume this is the one more towards the ramp, maybe not so much the resident gardens, because the resident gardens, in coordination with the garden committee, we did put somewhat of a sprinkler system. We put soaking hoses on a timer for those beds just to help out. I know the garden committee members do help out a lot with some additional watering, but the soaking hoses are helping just a little bit. Sprinkler system, we actually discussed that before we did the work that was just completed 2 weeks ago. It really came down, it was cost prohibitive. So they have to find a local domestic cold water tap. They have to build their system off of that, and then they have to be able to pipe it out. And once it's out, if you're adding on to the system, the cost isn't so bad, but when you're starting with a brand new system, it got really expensive really fast. So we're like, maybe not so much that, because if we do that, then we can't do other things. So we try to stay on point, which was adding as much garden space in there as we were able to this last year. Next question, can the broken lighting system in the rooftop garden be removed and replaced with a solar lighting system? So there's actually a low voltage, well actually it's high voltage, like a garden walk lighting up on the rooftop garden is specific to where this question is pointed at. Those lights have kind of started to fail one by one and the system's down. We do have a quote to replace that with a like but updated system. Whoever submitted the one relative to a solar lighting system, if you have some ideas, please see me and I can kind of weigh the two options and see which one's going to be the best way forward. But the other reason for utilizing, maybe redoing the system is the entire backbone. The piping's underground's there, the wires just can be re-pulled, and the control system is still in good working condition. So it's really not as expensive just to replace the individual fixtures because everything else is already there. Going back would be a much more expensive endeavor. So, but I'm happy to look at the solar system and see if we can make something work. Last question here is it possible to have a fan running in the corridor leading into the Bradford Terrace parking garage to circulate and freshen air? I'm not certain that a fan would help a ton. It wouldn't hurt to circulate air. Where they're relative to is Bradford Terrace, lower level. It's kind of expansive. You have the side over by the beauty salon, and you have the sides over by the lobby and the treasure chest. I think what I'll try is I can certainly look at a fan, but I think I'll try putting a dehumidifier down there and see if we can get some of the humidity out of the air. We get a lot of that during the summer through the garage. With those doors constantly opening and closing, we get a lot of humidity. So we'll look at adding a dehumidifier down in that space and see if we can help that smell out a little bit. Last question, there was a follow-up from last meeting, is the evergreens in the gazebo garden. We had one, now we have two dead evergreens. We've already reached out to the landscaping contractor that was out there. They're just trying to squeeze us in the schedule, come back and rip them out, put the new ones in. So we are working with them to get that resolved. And then just one notice, in October, you'll get a letter, but it's a little bit ahead of schedule, but in October we'll be going through to clean the garages out. So we'll be sending a letter out, let you know which days we'll be down there for pressure washing, and then we got some garbage and some things to get rid of as well. But we'll do a full garage cleaning of the Lake Terrace garage as well as the Bradford Terrace and the North Point Terrace garages. Any questions? Yes.
This is a evergreen question. Back around in that little alcove between the historic building and North Lake Terrace,
Okay.
there are those evergreens around that.
The electrical enclosure, yes.
Yeah, is that what it is? Like, okay.
Yeah, it's a transformer.
3 of those are really dead. And they've been dead since we moved in. I don't know if those are going to be changed at the same time.
Those are under warranty,
That's what I wondered.
long warranty, but we're working with KEI. They're the landscaping contractor that installed those. Those, right near Mr. and Mrs. Coffey overlooked that area. We saw those and reported it right when it happened, and we made sure that KEI knew about it. We're just waiting to get them back out here.
Okay.
They've been a little bit difficult to get on site to get those swapped out.
Great, thanks.
Any other questions?
I saw that morning there were 2 guys in gray uniforms out there talking about the elm trees. It looked like they were pointing to them. And those trees are diseased.
In which area?
In the patio, the 3 elm trees, the tall ones.
That would have been our guys and all. We didn't have anybody out to look at them yet.
They were 2 guys. They were there for quite a while, and they were looking at all the landscaping. So I thought maybe it was KEI.
Be news to me. I wish they would tell me
They
they're on
had
site.
a sign on their back, but I couldn't read it from
Okay.
upstairs.
I'll see if I can ask around, see if
They
anybody
were
was out.
pointing to the elm trees, talking about them.
The only guys that were wearing gray today would have been, and they came through the gazebo garden, was
This is the other day.
the boiler company, and they don't own any of the trees, but they're servicing our boilers the past 2 weeks, so they got boiler 1 opened up and cleaning it. That's, yeah, I'm just guessing, but gray shirts, that's what they have, so I'll ask around a little bit. Okay, moving on back to Tyler for our next presenter.
I was going to say, Mike's not here today, so we might get out in record time. But no, I'm just kidding. I am giving the update on Mike's behalf, and the update I would not do nearly as well as him, but here it goes. We have a 140th anniversary celebration that we're excited to have. A number of you have already signed up. There's about 2 weeks left, a week and a half left to sign up for the gala. That's going to be taking place September 14th, beginning at 5 p.m. We do have transportation set up for the evening, so you don't have to worry about driving downtown, figuring out parking, and then getting up to the ballroom. Evan has that taken care of for you. It is at the St. Kate's Hotel. It'll begin at 5 p.m. It'll be hosted by John McGivern. His program is going to start probably around 7:30. And we'll have everything wrapped up by about 8:30 or 9 p.m. and back home. Again, it's not a one-way ticket. Our transportation is a round trip. So, again, it is $75. That is cost of the event. It's $100 for all other individuals that want to attend. So a slight discount there, as well as obviously free transportation, which also includes free parking. So, again, love to see you there. It is black tie, encouraged or optional, but come as you will. I think it's going to be a really, really fun night. So far, we have about 160 individuals between residents, staff, vendors, friends, board members, so on and so forth. So again, we would love to see you there. and enjoy the evening with your neighbors. Question is what I'm going to go into next. Can we get a snack vending machine and an ice cream snack machine placed in the 1884? I'm just going to go, usually I don't say this, but it's no. We do have a general store that is right across the way that does sell delicious ice cream. If you really want that vending machine experience, we do have one in our employee center that you are welcome to go to. It's in our bottom floor here. It's got fresh sandwiches, it's got sodas, it's got chips. So if you got that hankering, head on down there and press the buttons and enjoy your vending machine delight. But we are not going to be placing one in the 1884. As you know, that space is pretty tight already with sometimes, especially during lunch. And again, I don't think that is the best motif for what we're going for in the 1884. Please provide some identification to photos on the wall of Bradford Terrace. I think the communications committee has reached out to me on this. I have Maureen working in tandem with Mike to get little plaques for them that will be placed underneath the pictures. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it is the pictures that as you walk in the Bradford Terrace lobby area on your left-hand side, if you're walking towards Lila from the parking lot, there's pictures there that are important figures of East Castle Place and walking across their own history. But we do not have any identification of those individuals and photos of places. So Maureen is working with Mike to identify, and she's aware, and maybe have worked with, I'm just looking at Shirley Anthony, to work and identify those, and then just put plaques, nice looking plaques that we will have placed under those photos. Can we have a knife sharpening service come to East Castle? I usually don't say this, and I don't want this to be the theme of the meeting, but no. So we have knife sharpening services that Tim and Majarka take care of. Kuzney Brothers comes in, but we're not going to start allowing residents to utilize that service. It just gets very complex and complicated. If you need a blade sharpened, I think Downer Hardware has some capabilities there. Otherwise,
Sharp Brothers is on the corner of Capitol Drive and right before Menlo's, just east of Menlo on the north side.
Sharp Brothers, take a look. If we have a very large contingency of residents, maybe we'll take a bus over to Sharp Brothers. Drop them off and get our blades sharp. So we are not bringing in that service again. We're bringing in audiology though, which has been a huge success. So thank you, Teresa. Can I just skip the next one? I'm not going to wrap up with Spectrum, but I am going to skip that one momentarily and go down to the next one. Why don't we have a resident on the board of directors? St. John's does. Twofold here. So your resident council is meeting with the executive committee of the East Castle Place and Walk Across and Home Board in September. This is an agenda item. Joe was kind enough to forward me kind of what the thoughts were and from the council members from the last council meeting as I was unable to attend. And I forwarded that on to Barb Tice, our board chair, and we are actually going to be discussing that at the board level as well next week. So again, I think, it's something that's definitely in discussion. Again, we are not St. John's, so that's why we are East Castle Place. But at the same time, again, we want that discussion. It has been heard by your board of directors, as well as myself, as well as the rest of the council. So I think those are going to be active discussions going forward. Are political signs appropriate here? Again, this is that time of year every 4 years. And again, I've always kind of had a policy. It's not written down anywhere, so it's one of those executive pieces. I appreciate everybody's political views, and whether you're left, whether you're right, down the middle, wherever you fall is your right, and your right to express that is amongst you, and please do. what we as a community just want to maintain is definitely a nonpartisan or bipartisan approach, as both views are appropriate, but we just want the signage that's potentially either in the balconies or outside your doors to remain limited, and that's just respect of each other. And I know you may say, well, that's my freedom, that's my respect, it's my home, and I completely don't disagree with you. At the same time, I'm just asking for your accommodation to, limit that sign. I want the discussions to happen. Again, it's one of those things that I think can get very heated, unfortunately, given the times. Not saying that at all has happened here. I want those spirited conversations, but sometimes it just can go too far. So again, whether, again, the signs that have been up are definitely appropriate. It's just, the president and vice president of their liking. It's not like vote for her, not for him, or anything like that. It's just something that, again, from a signage standpoint, we do try to limit that just across the community. So that is what we do, and kind of where the political signs fall. So again, we ask that you do not have them outside of your apartments or on your balconies. Discuss it, have your opinions, have those discussions. Again, it's just something that we've held to here at East Castle Place, because unfortunately, I have seen it in my prior communities where, again, all of a sudden one candidate is felt that is more supported than the others, and vice versa. So just try to stay down the middle of that. Judy.
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot, and today it seems like the sign is sort of in your face, whereas the discussion between people is a little more community friendly, I think.
Yeah, and again, that's what we're just trying to do, is keep it community friendly. Again, the signs, Judy, your point, maybe a little bit more in your face, but I want the discussions. Again, I don't want you to be afraid to think you can't have those discussions because you're in East Castle Place. By no means. You are free to have those discussions. Again, keep them respectful, obviously. But again, I haven't had any residents, family members, nobody come to me and say, Tyler, you really have a problem on your hands. I just don't want that to be a conversation to even enter. Because we have a really, really awesome community, and I don't want 3 months to ruin something that potentially, we have going for us. So again, have the conversations. We want those. Pet reminder, again, this is just something that was brought to me from a couple of sources. We have wonderful four-legged friends. Continue just to clean up after them. But if you do not have a four-legged friend and you want to give a neighbor's four-legged friend a treat, please make sure that resident that has that pet is accepting and wants. There's been a few pets that have had accidents because they've been given too many treats, or treats that haven't been right for themselves. So just be mindful of that as you, again, I know that you want to provide that treat to that pet that you love so much, that is your neighbor's. Just make sure you're being respectful of the neighbor's wishes. That's all. Again, just a little announcement there. Again, we love our pets, the pets and all that. So just a reminder.
Excuse me.
Lynn.
One other pet thing. She's not here today, but we had a resident who was taking her dog on a leash out through the gazebo. Somebody was visiting with a nice big dog, doesn't live here, off leash, out in the gazebo. So I think we should need to tell our friends and family,
right,
if they're bringing their dogs here, that's great, but if they go on our property, they have to be on a leash.
Thank you, Lynn, because yes, I wasn't aware of that. So yes, your pet at East Castle Place, just for the safety of yourself as well as other pets, should always be leashed. Again, I know that sometimes I've heard of, kind of using the gazebo courtyard as more like an off-leash dog type run, park, nobody's out there. You know that at any time, a friend, a neighbor, yourself could walk out there, and sometimes, again, the worst case scenario is that person that's walking out is not ready for it, startles, trips, falls, something of that nature, which we don't want, or just the two pets aren't getting along. And so again, we want to make sure those situations aren't happening. So thank you, Lynn. Pets must be on leash as they're in
And
campus.
this was not a resident's pet, this was a visitor.
Right, visitors, family alike. Again, we want your family to bring those pets around. We do love the dogs and cats. And do we have any birds right now, Teresa? We used to have a bird, but just keep them on a leash. Follow-up reminders before I jump up to Spectrum. Guest beds. So we are changing out the guest beds to 2 twin mattresses, changing up the room layout, if you will, to make it more accommodating based on your feedback. We also received a generous donation, so thank you. But that's going to take place probably after Labor Day. We're trying to find about a 3-day window where we're going to take the guest suite offline to make that change. Right now, we just have it pretty booked up. So waiting for that 3 days to take it offline. So hopefully by the next time we're having this meeting in September, we'll have some change. The courtyard's completed as we talked about, and then thank you again for your satisfaction survey response. Again, we're hoping to have those in late September, early October. I will be putting some things on the October calendar for a presentation on those satisfaction survey results, showing where the departments are, and then action plans that the director team and I have put together, and what we're doing to continue to move forward and improve the community. But your response is where it starts, and so I really just want to say thank you. As we did have a little bit of a thank you celebration last evening, as mentioned. But again, when we get those results, we'll definitely be sharing those with you. For those of you that were able to get the surveys done first, if you did not hear, 3rd floor Lake Terrace, congratulations. You are the recipients of a lunch provided by Evan. He's cooking. No, I'm just kidding. You didn't know that. No, third floor Lake Terrace residents were the first full floor to turn in their surveys. So they are the recipients of an off-site luncheon. I think we're scheduled for September 20th. It's a Friday after the gala. So, Evan is not going to be cooking.
The 4th floor North Point Terrace would like to present a protest.
Oh. Yeah.
We have twice the number of residents on our floor.
Needs to be a handicap situation.
Sure. So you didn't know that I handicapped it to handicap it because I only counted half of your floor. Is there still a protest? Protest withdrawn? I'm watching Suits right now, so there's something about that. All right. But no, we did divide the floors up in North Point Terrace down the middle as well, so it was half and half of the North Point Terrace to make it as even as possible. We were within a... yeah. We're on an average of 10 residents. That's what we were looking for. So trust me, there's also a budget that Evan's got that we want to make sure we're limiting how many residents. I'm just kidding. All right, Spectrum, everybody's favorite topic. Eric, I forgot to ask you. I'm looking. I don't think we have a date for certain. So Eric has been extremely diligent in this process to work with now 3 Spectrum reps to get us on board and be done and get this behind us. So right now it's looking like early to mid-October is kind of the date that Eric has been floated to have Spectrum come back on site with 8, 9, 10 technicians for 3-4 days to install that second box in your apartments. I assure you the contract was signed within 25 minutes of receiving it after I reviewed it. And that was signed close to 90 days ago, give or take. It's supposed to be within 60 days of contract, they're supposed to be out. That's what we're fighting about right now. We're also fighting to see if I can get the Turner Movie Classic channel and the Golf channel ahead of that. Again, that was brought up in my coffee with Tyler. I did put that on the back burner because the bigger issue is getting the Spectrum boxes for those second TVs. Trust me, I know it's frustrating. I will tell you, Eric has also been frustrated, and myself included, with Spectrum. I can also share with you, Catholic Home is going through AT&T right now, and they're not happy. And I can share with you, there's another community that's got a different vendor, and they're not happy either. So what does that mean? We're all just not happy? No. We're down this road with Spectrum. We need to carry on. I know I'm asking for, again, your patience. I wish there was something more we could do outside of essentially a daily email or phone call from either Eric, myself, or Joe Petoskey to Spectrum to keep this going. That Eric's got a good contact that's trying to get us in earlier than that, early to mid-October, sometime in September. Again, it may be a short notice that they say, oh, we can get you in Monday and it's Friday. You will be getting a notice saying, hey, you're going to get a knock on the door on Monday. So again, I'm hoping for better planning. I'm just preparing for the worst with Spectrum, unfortunately, to work through this. They are going to come, whether you have a second TV or not, you're going to get a second box. So that is something that, again, per our contract, Eric, myself, and Joe are kind of figuring out what does that look like for those that really just don't want the second cable box, or guess what, they don't even have a second room with a TV. Initially, we were just going to tell Spectrum per contract is really what they go by, put them in the apartments, and then we're going to take care of them from there. So, Dave.
Can the Golf Channel, or does the Golf Channel and Turner Network have to be installed on site, or can't they just flip a switch off site?
That was my ask when I signed the contract, and I still don't have an answer. I thought they could just kind of flip a switch on their end and get it to us. Apparently it's not that easy. Again, I did float that to them again this week and saying, can you give me some kind of update? Again, they haven't. So my guess is it's going to be when that second box is installed. If I can do it before that, trust me, I will.
It won't matter because the FedEx Cup playoffs will be done by then.
I wish I could say, please be more optimistic, but I'm kind of in the boat with you. So that is the Spectrum update. I wish I had a better update. Trust me, Eric was like, Tyler, we're going to get a date, and something by the state of the castle. And he was making phone calls, and again, it's unfortunately waiting on Spectrum. So do know it's something that is continuing to be top of mind for Eric, for myself, for Joe to keep this going forward, because the Packers are going to be playing soon. And if you have a Packers and a Bears fan in two different apartments, I don't even want to think about that. So we need to get the cable boxes, long story short. So that's the Spectrum update. Again, I wish I had a better one for you. But with that, that is the agenda. Are there any questions? All right. If not, please see Gary for any choir questions. Please continue to enjoy the beautiful weather. And next week, Wednesday at 2 p.m. will be the 2025 budget presentation right here in this room. So if you want, come on back. Otherwise, we'll make sure you get the information. All right? Thank you, everybody. Take care.